This video is going to be aimed at rescue workers or volunteers. One of the problems that I see in terms of dogs and dog problems, and if you train dogs, if you work with dogs, or if you have a dog, you probably have noticed something similar to this. Is that one of the biggest problems is that these dogs are not properly matched. If you have an aggressive dog, if you have a dog that is not the right fit for you, what do? We blame the dog or we blame the owner. That's usually what we do. If something bad happens, somebody gets bit, or there's some kind of tragedy, nobody blames the dog. Right? Yeah, people blame the dog, but the animal lovers, they don't blame the dog. They'll just go, "Oh no, it's the person's fault. That was an irresponsible owner," or they blame other circumstances. Right? And then you've got people blaming the dog or people blaming the owners. Nobody ever freaking blames the shelters. I have seen firsthand dogs that are assholes, dogs that have bit people, and then the rescue acts like, "Oh yeah, we kind of knew that, but we didn't tell you because we didn't think it was important." And then we'll tell them, "Look, this dog has bit people, and granted, yes, training can make things better, and the training does make things better. Some of these dogs that we work with, they have a bite history, and they do amazing. And some of them, training does not fix temperament. Okay, training can improve a lot of things, and training can it can come a long way. It can definitely help, but a dog with a crappy temperament is not going to be a social butterfly and a very, very awesome dog to be around just with training. These rescue organizations, they will tell us blatantly. They won't even tell us. They'll just put the dogs that I remember recommending. Do not put that dog on the adoption list. Here's why. And not only do they put them on the adoption list, but their description is ridiculous. Their description is, "Oh, awesome, amazing dog, good with families." And I'm thinking, what do you mean good with families? This dog freaking bit 5 people. 5 people, and it punctured it cut skin. And now you're putting this dog as an adoptable dog and good with families? What kind of freaking idiot does that? It's rescue organizations that do that all the freaking time. Not every rescue, of course. There are some rescues that actually do know what they're doing. They are putting in the effort. But unfortunately, most of them don't do that. When you hear of dogs in the news that are doing this, these horrible things, yes, we could blame the owner and say this owner didn't know what they were doing. This owner got the wrong dog. Or this owner didn't mentally or physically stimulate the dog, so the dog got bored. This dog had no boundaries. The owner let the dog do whatever it wanted, and then we blame the owner. Or we'll blame the dog. I want to know who the hell said this freaking dog that none of us feel 100% about should go with this person that probably has never owned a dog, because they do that. They don't care. The rescue organizations, they really don't care. Here's how rescue organizations work. And I don't care if you work for a rescue and you think I'm an idiot, if you think I'm an asshole for saying this, but this is primarily how the success of a rescue works out. You've got a number, and this is how the success is measured. Outgoing dogs. If these dogs get adopted out, this is a successful rescue. The numbers of the dogs coming back in, that number does not get looked at that much. And yes, you're probably thinking, "Oh no, that's not true. We do look at those numbers." Yes, you do look at those numbers, but in terms of your team and the community, donors, if you're working with some kind of funding, private funding, that's how they look at that. They look at it as this rescue is doing great things. A lot of these people don't freaking know what matchmaking is. They see a dog and they go, "Oh, this freaking crazy, insane dog that can barely, we can barely walk. yeah, let's adopt him out to the first person that thinks he's cute. And it's the wrong dog, they go to the wrong people, and then bad things happen. And nobody points the finger at the rescues. I have seen dogs that have awesome temperaments, really, really nice temperaments. You know, they're social, they're very sweet. They might be a little bit playful, but very, very nice temperament. But they happen to be ugly, or they happen to be the wrong breed, and you don't see those dogs on the adoption list. And the same rescue, this is something I have experienced, something I have seen. And that same rescue that took those really nice dogs that were just not the right breed, not the right looks, that were not on the adoption list, and instead they would put a dog that had a bite history, a dog that was more unpredictable. Why? Because it was cute. It had just the right look. It had just the right look, and and the description, freaking amazing. You will never tell by reading that description that this dog had a bite history, and they will not know until they take him home, because that's an outgoing number. They'll get bit. Hopefully, nothing serious, because a lot of these bites are not serious, and then somebody will get blamed for it, the dog for sure, or the owner, and then they will come back to the shelter. And then they'll create a Facebook page for the freaking dog, and they'll advertise the dog like crazy, but they're not thinking about matching these dogs properly. What's the one thing they ask? Are you going to use a prong collar on these dogs? Are you going to use punitive methods that we don't agree with? Because if you're going to do that, do not adopt the dog. You freaking idiots. I absolutely I have no patience for that. One of the dogs that we adopted, one of my dogs, when my wife adopted him, that's one thing that they asked. Are you planning on using these training tools, training methods that are not purely positive? Do you know what kind of dog that is? That dog, if, he had been abandoned twice. And this dog has a personality, a temperament that if he went to a regular person that was not gonna be creative and consistent with their training, and I don't care whether it's purely positive or not, but if this dog were to a family that maybe is inexperienced, my dog Jax, he would have gone back to the shelter, maybe put down, because he probably would have bit somebody eventually. And that is not the top priority, right? The top priority is, are you going to use training tools that we don't agree with, even though we don't know what the hell we're talking about? It just sounds nice. So that is our priority. Are you going to use training methods that we don't agree with, that we're not okay with? Never mind that you have no experience. If you have no experience, here's this crazy dog. As long as you tell us you're not going to use anything other than just treats and a flat collar or a harness. It's ridiculous.